everyone, welcome to my cooking channel. Just kidding, I am like by no means a cook. However, I do have a family I need to feed, so I make do with what I can do. But I've been wanting to do a video of just some easier home cooked meals that I do throughout the week. None of these things that I'm making are like super complex, or they're probably really not even original. I'm just showing like what we kind of make that we eat on like a semi-regular basis. I'm really trying to do 2 new recipes a month, and we're halfway through January and I haven't done anything new yet. So maybe I can incorporate that into this video and I can do like a review of how it turns out. But tonight I'm making like a tomato-based, bless you, a tomato-based like veggie meatball soup. So I'll show how to make it. It is the middle of January. It's definitely soup season in my opinion. And we're just gonna make some soup. It's not my husband's favorite because he's just like not a soup guy, but I think it's really good, and there's meatballs in it and you can't go wrong with some meatballs. So again, I'm not any sort of special cook, but I'm just going to show the meals that we're making, you know. And fun little fact, I used to work at Starbucks, and I felt like I worked there long enough that I deserved the right that I got to take an apron. So I haven't worked there since I was like, I think I was 18 or 19, so it's been a few years, but the apron still comes in handy. So first off, I'm gonna wash the veggies that I'm putting in this. I'm gonna put everything in the crock pot, and just because the meat isn't completely as soft as I want it to be, I pulled it out of the freezer last night, and it was sitting in the fridge, but it's still a little cold. So, and I'm sorry the dishwasher is running, it just occurred to me, so hopefully I'm talking loud enough and it's not like super distracting. Anyway, the meat didn't thaw as much as I would have liked it to, so I'm gonna do the meatballs last. They don't need to go in there till the end anyway, so I'm gonna let that soften and put all the veggies, some broth, and the tomatoes all in the crock pot. Those are all gonna get warm and we'll all mix, and I'll season it. And then towards the end we do rice and the meatballs. So first let's cut some of our veggies. First let's wash our veggies actually. So I usually just do zucchini, onion, a can of diced tomatoes, and maybe that's it. I usually just do the zucchini, but I have just the regular squash, so since I have it, I'm gonna try to use it. I'm trying to be not as so, I'm trying to be less wasteful, so I wanted to use these two, but you're just going to dice them up in like bite-sized pieces. I'm gonna add in, I'm just gonna do half of this box of chicken broth. And I really eyeball just about everything that I do. So that's about half. Mix this up a little bit. You can really season it with whatever you want. I'm gonna do some salt. I love salt, so I might do a little bit more than like the average person. Some salt, some garlic powder, some onion powder, just a little bit because there's already onion in there. I like putting this in a lot of my stuff too. It just adds like a little bit of spice. It's like peppery. but it's just a seasoning blend, and I put it in a lot of the stuff that I make. So put that in there. Mix it up again, and that's what it's looking like right now. This is just my crock pot bowl, so I'm gonna go put this in the crock pot and put it on high, and we'll start prepping the meatballs. Dustin's working pretty late tonight, so this will be in the crock pot for a good amount of time. I'm going to get the stuff now to prep the meatballs. Okay, now we're going to start making the meatballs. I have a baking sheet back there lined with parchment paper because they're gonna go into the oven, but we're starting, sorry, Brody's playing behind me, so hopefully he's not too noisy, but I use ground turkey. You can totally use ground beef. We just use turkey more often in this house. Are you being so noisy? You're being noisy, noisy boy. Noisy, noisy. But you're going to do 2 eggs, a little bit beaten, and I usually just do it in the same bowl, but I'm gonna do a separate one just for the video today. But here's my meat. I'm gonna take my rings off because mixing with your hands is the best. So we have the meat, some eggs. I'm going to season it first and then mix, and then I'll mix the eggs in. But I just season mine with, I'm gonna put everything, I'm gonna do pepper and eyeballing everything. Salt, onion powder, garlic powder, some paprika, then breadcrumbs because this is what helps it stick together. May or may not need to add more of these, not sure yet, but I'm gonna try to mix it a little bit. It's still pretty cold, so I'm hoping mixing it will warm it up enough. I'm gonna start rolling these into balls, so I'm going to preheat the oven. You broil them first for 7 to 9 minutes, and then you bake them after that for like 5 more minutes. So I'm gonna turn the oven on because it takes a minute to get hot so that it'll broil. So I'm gonna turn that on, and then we'll start rolling these. I'm gonna put these in there to broil for 9 minutes, but I'm gonna keep an eye on them because if they look done sooner, I'll turn the broiler off. Okay. Now that they're done, I'm gonna let them cool, and then later I'll add them to the soup. It's only about to be 4 o'clock. I'm gonna open the crock pot because I think it's been a while now. I've kind of lost track of time, but I'm gonna open the soup and see what we're working with, and then I'll add those to it later. And then I also add rice, and I recommend using like instant rice or whatever's easiest and convenient, but I only have like regular rice, so I'm just gonna put it in the rice cooker, and then I'll add that later as well. But that's all right. So if you have a rice cooker, you can use that too, but instant rice I think would be the way to go just because it's the most convenient. Okay, I just wanted to take a peek at the soup. Oh, got all fogged up, but so far so good. Nothing is anywhere soft enough where it needs to be, so that'll still be going for a while. I'm gonna let it go for a couple hours, and I'll check back in when it's closer to being done. All right, so a few hours have gone by. I did rice on the rice cooker, but just some regular white rice. I'm gonna add this now to the crock pot. Usually I start this earlier in the day, so I feel like it's done by now, but I didn't get this like on here until after 2. So the veggies still aren't as soft as I want them to be. Thankfully, Dustin's not even gonna be home for like another hour. So we don't necessarily need to eat it right now. But I'm gonna stir all that rice in. And this is what we're looking like. So got the meatballs in there. Put those in a little bit ago, and then onion, zucchini, still a little firmer than I would like, but we're gonna keep it on high for another like, Delaney and I will probably eat in like 20-30 minutes, but that'll do for now. So that's what we have. Okay, and here is dinner. I kind of chopped up my, you're gonna have dinner in just 1 second. I kind of chop up my meatball that's in there, and then it's good to go. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt, but then I feel like mine will be perfect. I definitely wish I would have started it closer to like noon or 1 because my veggies still aren't as soft as I want them to be, but they're really good. And if I have this for leftovers tomorrow, they'll be perfect then. We'll see you the next time I make a dinner worth documenting. So there's night 1. All right, everybody, we're on another night of dinner. This is my most made meal, my comfort meal, nothing original, nothing over the top spaghetti. We have spaghetti so often in this house, but it's a Monday. Delaney has gymnastics. It was a busier day. I literally was like in and out of the house since this morning. So spaghetti it is. And I know this isn't like difficult or really even like worthy of needing a recipe, but this isn't a recipe video. It's just meals that we eat throughout the week. So if it inspires you, great. If it reminds you that you haven't had spaghetti in a while, fantastic. And if it doesn't, that's okay, because I'm just showing what we eat during the week. But spaghetti is definitely one of those things. So I'm gonna start the water. Our meat in our spaghetti, I always do ground turkey. I feel like most people do beef, or some people do like Italian sausage, but my go-to is always ground turkey. Some people hate it, but I love it, and I don't even really notice the difference, to be honest. Fun little fact, from the time I was like 13, 14 until I think right about 20 years old, I didn't eat cows or pigs. I didn't eat beef or pork. I just ate fish and poultry. So that's kind of why I'm so like stuck on ground turkey, because that's honestly all I had for so long. And my family all like switched to it because I wasn't eating it, and it just made it easier than doing like 2 types of meat all the time. And so my whole family got stuck on ground turkey, and that's like, I feel like all I know at this point. I love a burger, love steak, love it now. Pork still isn't my favorite, but I will eat it. Anyway, I eat everything, but I just stick to ground turkey with stuff like this. I know I made ground turkey meatballs in the soup the other night. Ground turkey is just my go-to forever. And I'm so glad I've done this 2 times in a row now, but my last 2 trips to Costco, I've bought the 4-pack of the ground turkey because it's so convenient to just throw in the freezer, and then I can just whip up spaghetti like this, like whenever I want. At Costco, some staples are the giant pack of spaghetti, now the 4-pack of ground turkey, and then their big things of pasta sauce. I feel like I always need to have that on deck, because if I can't think of a dinner, I don't want to, and I don't want to do like pick something up, like I'm trying really hard to cook more and pick up less. We're just gonna have spaghetti. So the water's boiling. I'm gonna start cooking the meat because it was still a little hard and cold because I took it out of the freezer when I got home from work. I like to do like an Italian salad with this, but I don't have the stuff to do that, so that's okay. It's not always necessary, so that's all right. But I'm gonna let this stuff cook, and then I just really mix everything. But I use the whole pack of ground turkey, and then Costco has this wonderful giant pack of spaghetti. So we'll use these noodles, and then they also sell a 3-pack of this pasta sauce. It's just the traditional It's a little on the sweeter side in my opinion, and I like more savory, but I mean, everybody else likes this, and then I can just add like some spices to it. I'm gonna cook this stuff up, I'll show it when it's done. With the meat cooking, since I like the savory, little bit of spice taste more than the sweet, I add Nature's, which is pretty peppery, so it adds a little bit more of the spice, and then just some garlic powder. I add it to the meat while it's cooking, and then once it's cooked through, I put the sauce in and then just let it simmer while the noodles are cooking. This feels like so silly making this and recording it because I feel like everybody's like, yeah, spaghetti is like not that hard, like why are we, who cares? But I just know that literally, maybe not everybody, I guess, if you don't struggle with coming up with the dinner ideas, I'm very jealous of you, because this is, I think, the hardest part of adulthood for me, is coming up with meal ideas throughout the week, and just stuff that like my kids will, or I only have one kid really eating food so far, but that my husband will eat and that Delaney will eat. I just try to find stuff. Like, I get so tired of having the same thing over and over again, but I feel like I go through like my Pinterest recipe board and I just scroll and scroll and scroll, and I've either like made something similar to stuff on there, or like I don't have all the stuff for recipes on there, and I just need like more simple, good basics. And spaghetti is one of those things. So here we are making spaghetti. I'm sure I'll end up making it this week. I will need to buy white rice at some point. Actually, unfortunately, I don't have a Trader Joe's in my local town. I have one within 40 minutes, and I need to make it like at least a monthly thing to go regularly, because I'm able to stock my freezer with their stuff, and it's so worth it because it's so much more affordable than like our main grocery store here. So I need to just like put it into the budget that we're just gonna do like once a month, a big like Trader Joe's haul. Anyway, I have out in the freezer in the garage, I have their frozen jasmine rice, and that is the most convenient thing. So I'm sure one night this week I'll do the frozen orange chicken from Costco. Is like also a staple in our house. It's just easy, good, everybody eats it. It's also good for like Mondays when we're busier, so I might save it for Monday, but I also might use it this week because I'm running low on things to make. But I also have like some frozen pot stickers from Trader Joe's that are really yummy. I ate some not too long ago, and I have like half the container left. So I might finish those one night this week, or like, oh my god. Or those are really good for lunch too, so I might make it for lunch one day. But I'm going to look through my freezer right now and see what I even have, so that I can be strategic throughout the week and like know what I'm making, because if I don't have a plan, I don't make anything, and then we eat out, or I don't eat anything and Delaney eats a cheese quesadilla. So trying to get out of that habit. Obviously some nights are harder than others, and it's okay to have those nights, but I'm just trying to be better about it because it's become a habit. So I'm gonna see what I have planned out the week, and we'll see what we get. The fan above the stove is on because it turns on automatically when it gets too hot over there, but the spaghetti is done. As soon as the noodles are done, I drain them and then just mix them with the sauce and the meat. Here, I'm cutting your spaghetti right now, so you go sit at the table and you can eat. Also, biggest parenting hack if you don't do this already, your kitchen scissors that come in your like knife block, if you're not using them to cut your kids' food, you're going to now, because it's absolutely the most important thing as a parent. Sleeve. But there's my super fancy complex dinner for the night. We'll see you tomorrow night with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Just kidding. I'll figure out something to do tomorrow night. I was looking at like sheet pan dinners on, I put cheese on, I'll put more on top. I was looking at like sheet pan dinners on Pinterest. So if I find one that's worth cooking, I'm gonna try that tomorrow night. Now we're gonna eat spaghetti. We'll see you maybe tomorrow if I cook something cool. It's a new night, time for a new dinner. I'm making something I've never made before, so this is going to be my first new recipe of the month. I'm trying to do 2 new recipes every month, so we're starting with baked crunchy pretzel honey balsamic chicken, which is a mouthful to say, but this is what the chicken will look like. And then I'm doing a side of potatoes. I'm just doing the little gold and red potatoes and some broccoli. So that will be the meal. But this chicken I've never done before. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to try to walk you guys through this as best I can. But when I am doing something new, I am not very good at multitasking, but I will try my best. But first of all, I need to get my food processor out. I worked out for the first time today in like literally forever, and I'm feeling it. Like, I didn't even do really anything serious, but I definitely feel it. My body's just exhausted. If you don't have a food processor, when I didn't have one, I used to just put it all in like a Ziploc bag and like hit it with something or roll it. There's other ways to go about this, but this is by far the most convenient way. So I need 6 cups of mini pretzels, and when I'm cooking, I've said this before, but I eyeball everything. I really don't measure stuff out. Okay, so we need the pretzels, Parmesan cheese, paprika, onion powder, garlic powder. Okay. In addition to the spaghetti, I use it on a lot of other stuff. Okay, so it says to pulse that until you have fine crumbs, and we now have some fine crumbs. I'm going to pour it into a shallow bowl. Okay, so now we're going to make the, what would you call this? The coating for the chicken. So you do 2 eggs and some balsamic vinegar. Mix that. Put the 2 pieces of chicken in it. Add the chicken and toss well to coat. Okay, so the chicken has been sitting in the, in the egg and balsamic vinegar, and now I'm going to coat it in the pretzel mixture, and then it's going to go on this baking sheet with parchment paper. I want mine to be extra coated. Okay, so this is what the chicken will look like once it's all coated. And then I'm going to drizzle both of these with olive oil and put them in the oven. And you preheat the oven to 425, and then this will cook in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes or until the chicken looks crispy. The sauce that goes over this chicken, you need balsamic vinegar, honey, onion powder, garlic powder, thyme, and it said cayenne pepper, but I realized I didn't have any, so I have some chili powder I'm just gonna put on it. I don't want too much anyway because I want Delaney to eat it, and I don't want it to be too spicy. It has measurements on the recipe. I'll link it with the video, but again, I just eyeball everything. Welcome to another night of dinner. I'm making shredded chicken tostadas for dinner tonight, so I don't have a ton of room left on this card, so I'm gonna try to do like a summarized version. But I'm going to throw 2 pieces of frozen chicken breast into the Instant Pot, and then I'm just going to put some taco seasoning on it and some chicken flavored bouillon powder. And it doesn't need a ton because since the chicken is frozen, there's already a good amount of moisture. I'm going to add a little bit of water. And then I just hit the poultry option, high pressure for, we'll do 16 minutes. I feel like that's about the time that it needs. And then when it's done, it'll be ready to shred. And then I'm just gonna cut up everything else that goes on it. It does take longer than the 17 minutes because it takes a few minutes to get up to pressure. So I think total it's maybe like 25 minutes. And then I just use tostada shells and I put refried beans on first. And then I do tomato, meat, avocado, lettuce. And usually I like to make my own salsa, but I only like to make it if I know I'm gonna use all the salsa because they make a big amount, and I just wasn't sure I was going to do that. So I didn't get the ingredients to do that, which is okay. With all that stuff on it by itself, it's fine. So I'm gonna let the chicken cook and then I'll do everything else. Okay, so the chicken has about 7 minutes left. I just opened this can of refried beans. I'm gonna put it on the stove and warm it up. I'm just gonna warm that up, and this is easy for Delaney too because I have regular tortillas, so I can just make her like a little bean and cheese and chicken burrito or roll up as she calls them. And then I'm gonna cut the tomatoes. I bought shredded lettuce already. I kind of cheated today, but it was a lot cheaper than the 3 things of romaine, and I just wasn't gonna use all 3 of them, so I just bought the shredded lettuce. I have an avocado I'm gonna cut up, and I think that's it. And then I'll show what we're looking like when we're all put together. The chicken is done, so I'm gonna throw it into this bowl and shred it. Okay, I pulled it out, so this is what it looks like when it's done. And then to shred it, the easiest way is I just pull out my hand mixer. Shreds perfectly. I have cut up avocado, tomato, the chicken. I put the tostada shells in the microwave for a minute. The oven would have been the other option, but this is just faster and I like them to be a little bit warm. I'm gonna make one for myself and then I'm gonna make Delaney, I think just like a little burrito. I have the cheese and the lettuce as well. Then I'm gonna do cheese on top of the chicken because it's the warmest, so it'll melt. And then a handful of lettuce. I do heavy on the lettuce because I like it to be almost like a salad. And then some tomato and some avocado. You almost can't tell it's on a tostada because I do lots of lettuce, but it's all on there and it is so good. Delaney will eat mine, but if I make her this, she's like overwhelmed by it, but I swear she's gonna come eat this off of my plate. But it's super easy, kid friendly. I should make it more often because it's so good and easy, but you can eat it picking it up like this, or I take a fork and like smash mine and eat it like that. But there's my last little meal for this video. I cooked more meals and just was bad about recording, so if this does well and you want to see more, I will try to do it again. I don't know how soon it'll be up just because typically it's chaotic cooking. Like this time of night is difficult because 3 nights out of the week, Dustin isn't even here at this time, so I'm cooking dinner and managing both kids, which is totally fine, but that's why it's hard to get the camera out sometimes, and why sometimes meals are as simple as spaghetti. But that's okay. So thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, I hope I inspired you to make something that maybe you haven't tried or haven't made for a while. But anyway, thanks so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.